Alright guys, moving on. What we learned today is what is PIP in Forex. The second one is what is Pipette in Forex, and at the end of the video you are going to learn how to read a currency code, right? So make sure you pay attention. Remember, these videos is in series. We are doing it. We have published the first one, second one, and this is the third one. So it's in series, beginners class, so that you can be able to know how to get started in Forex trading, right? So let's get started. So the first thing you need to understand is that PIP stands for percentage in points, and it means a measure of change in value in a currency pair, right? Then the third thing you need to understand is that PIP is usually the fourth decimal place of a price code. I'm going to explain this in details, right? I want you to take a look at this. Let's say this is a price, you understand? If you take a look at here, you discover that, for instance, we are using Euro USD. You discover that right now the price we are looking at here, after one, you have up to what, 5 decimal point. So what this is showing you is that this is telling you that the PIP here is 4 decimal place in some currency, right? Then you discover why is it that you are having up to 5 here. So what it's telling you is to only consider the 4 decimal and ignore the last one, right? So that is what this thing. I'm going to explain to you in a minute what the last one means, right? But when you are counting, it means that you're going to count from the last one here. Okay, let me just use steady, the price, the one that the price is steady. So let's take a look at this. Make sure you pay attention to this. You discover that we have 1.08900, right? So you're going to ignore the last one and stop at what, 4 decimal points. All right, that's what this statement means, which is a PIP is usually the 4th decimal place of a price code, right? Then moving on now. So I'm going to use Euro USD now to demonstrate what this means. So if Euro USD move from 1.1050 to 1.1051, that means that if you say this minus this, you are going to get this, which means the rise in value is what, 1 PIP, which is 1 here. If you say this minus this, you are going to consider this as what, 1 PIP, even though it's in point. Remember, it's the 4th decimal that we are considering. This from here to here, you discover you have 1, which means rise in PIP is what, 1 PIP, 1 PIP, right? Then let's continue. Another thing I want you to understand is that Japanese yen are different, right? Japanese yen are different. Why? Because we are going to be, the PIP is 2nd decimal place, right? The PIP is in 2nd decimal. Let me show you instance. So let me just type here Japanese yen. Let's use, okay, don't worry, I think I have the pair already. Let's use USD JPY for instance. So as you can see here, you are seeing USD JPY here, right? USD JPY. So if you notice here, you discover that we have what, 125 point. You have after point, now we have up to what, up to 3 decimal point here. So this one is telling you that you are going to consider what, 2 decimal place, 2 decimal, and ignore the last one. I'm going to explain what the last one means, right? So that is what is telling you that anyone that contains JPY here, Japanese yen, you are going to do what, use 2 decimal point. You're going to consider 2 decimal point. That's what this means. PIP is 2 decimal places in what, JPY pairs, because they are different. Example, let's say USD JPY move from 123.10 to 123.15. An increase of what, 5 PIP is what the market move. The market move an increase of what, 5 PIP, right? So having understand that, then the next thing you need to understand is what is a pipette in Forex market. Remember, I told you to ignore something at the cost of this, right? So here we are going to be explaining what that thing means, as also known as what fraction pips, which means is 1% of what of a pip. That's what pipette means, right? The fifth decimal place. Remember, when we were here, when you are looking at this, let's say Euro USD for instance, Euro USD, we have what up to 5 decimal places here. So I told you the other time to do what? To ignore the last one. That last one is what we called what? Pipette. Pipette, right? What is why you see something like this? You see, the fifth decimal place is what called what? Pipette. That's pipette. The third decimal places for what? For JPY pair. Remember, JPY have 3 decimal places. Alright? JPY here have what? 3 decimal places. While Euro USD have 5 decimal places. The fifth one in Euro USD or USD pairs, most of the pairs is what? The best way to understand is that anyone that have 5 decimal places, consider the what? 5. Consider the fifth one as what? Pipette. While the fourth one, the 4 decimal places as what? Pip. That's the best way for you to understand it, right? Then remember, just as I said, that JPY have what? The third decimal place is what we call what? Pipette. While Euro USD, the fifth decimal place is what we call what? Pipette. I hope you understand, right? So let's continue. So another example of pipette here. Remember, I give you example of what? I'm giving you example of pips. Now I'm giving you example of pipette. So moving on, you see here that we have Euro USD. Let's say Euro USD move from what? From 1.35005 to 1.35057. As you can see, when you pick this, let's say this one minus this particular one, you discover you're going to have what? In pips. Remember, when you minus this from this, you're going to have, since you were told that you start to count for 4 decimal place. 4 decimal place is what? In pip, while this last one is in pipette, which is the last one here. So which means we have 5 pip and 2 what? 2 pipette, right? Which means what? Price move in what? In a increase of what? 5.2 pips. That's the best way to understand it, guys. So make sure you go through it. If you don't quite understand it, I want to watch it again. By the time you watch it again, you understand. Thank you very much.